The Rivera family, Carlos, Elena, their 16-year-old daughter Sofia, and 13-year-old son Mateo, lived in San Diego, California. Like many families in a rapidly changing world, they were juggling school pressures, financial uncertainty, health-related anxiety, and the unpredictable pace of modern life. They were not in crisis, but they often felt overwhelmed, as if life was happening to them rather than with them. Carlos, a freelance graphic designer, and Elena, a public school teacher, had always valued open communication and resilience. But over time, dinner conversations turned into stress recaps, and dreams were replaced by worries about grades, income, safety, and the future. Mateo had recently begun experiencing anxiety at school, and Sofia was struggling with pressure to choose a college path. Elena felt exhausted by work politics, and Carlos was unsure if his freelancing income could sustain them through economic fluctuations. They needed something more than optimism. They needed a system to keep their emotional health and creativity aligned with the pace of change. That's when they discovered bank happiness. Elena stumbled upon bankhappiness.com, where she read about a program designed to help individuals and families measure and reduce fear to create space for innovation, happiness, and sustainable success. The program was built upon a groundbreaking framework created by Oliver Matar, described in his book, How to Achieve Sustainable Success. She ordered the book, read it in 3 days, and passed it to Carlos. The central thesis was unlike anything they'd encountered before. Success cannot be sustained without consistently measuring and reducing fear. Matar introduced 2 powerful pillars: value creation and innovation through the NECICI model, and occupational happiness through the DAR model and Bank Happiness program. The models were surprisingly accessible. NECICI stood for necessity, enabling environment, creative thinking, inventions, change management, and innovation. DAR stood for detection, awareness, acceptance, reduction, and replacement, a method for consciously managing fear. What if we manage our family like a successful organization? One that reduces fear and constantly innovates. We could use this program not just to survive change, but to lead it. And so, they began maintaining their family's bank happiness account, a metaphorical account where fear was the main currency to be reduced, and happiness and innovation were the returns. As recommended by the program, each family member spent about 5 minutes every evening rating their fear exposure for the day, and, these weren't just about monsters under the bed. They tracked some really subtle fears: fear of judgment at school, fear of job loss, fear of not being good enough, fear from the news, fear from doctor's appointments, even fear triggered by legal or governmental interactions. They used a color-coded scale, green for low, yellow for moderate, and red for high, to log the influence of fear. Sofia admitted her red zone fears came mostly from school rankings and peer comparisons. Mateo feared being misunderstood by teachers. Elena noted that district mandates and lawsuits were emotionally draining. Carlos was afraid of losing major clients. The DAR model helped them go beyond just labeling their fears. They learned to detect fear in their minds and bodies, build awareness of when and why it arose, accept the presence of fear without guilt, and begin reducing it through boundaries, communication, and creativity. Finally, they worked to replace fear-inducing habits with empowering practices like sharing successes, going for mindfulness walks, or co-creating solutions together. Over the course of 3 weeks, they noticed less arguing, deeper empathy, and more laughter around the dinner table. With their emotional clarity growing, the Riveras decided, to apply the NECICI model to tackle a financial challenge. So Carlos's freelance income had declined, and Elena was, honestly, worried about college savings. They declared a family brainstorming weekend using NECICI to generate new sources of revenue. First, necessity. They identified their driving need to create an additional $1,500 per month to cover savings, tuition, and emergencies. Second, enabling environment. They made the home more innovation-friendly. Phones went off. Encouraging signs were posted on the walls. No idea was considered too silly. And really, each family member had an equal voice. Third, creative thinking. Sophia proposed tutoring middle schoolers in math and Spanish. Mateo offered to start a YouTube channel focused on creative DIY projects for kids. Elena shared her secret dream of writing short stories for teachers and homeschooling parents, and Carlos wanted to sell pre-made logo packs for small businesses. They turned these ideas into prototypes. Carlos built a website, Sophia made flyers for her tutoring, Mateo designed 3 do-it-yourself videos, Elena outlined her first ebook. They assigned roles, Sundays became project review nights, Elena helped with content editing, Carlos handled tech, the kids learned scheduling and accountability. Within 2 months, Sophia had 3 tutoring clients earning her $300 a month. Mateo's channel hit 1,000 subscribers earning ad revenue. Elena launched a digital product store for teachers. Carlos closed 2 new clients who found him through the family's creative website. Their combined income boost exceeded their original goal, and, for the first time, each family member felt like an innovator. The use of bank happiness and DAR, really helped each family member reduce unnecessary pressure. Sophia shared that she no longer compared herself to friends constantly. Mateo, on the other hand, developed a new sense of confidence and, a richer emotional vocabulary. Elena felt professionally rejuvenated, and Carlos, he rediscovered his sense of purpose. They also used bank happiness and DAR to deal with external stressors, things like medical bills, legal bureaucracy, and school policies, by evaluating how these systems induced fear and, honestly, using calm and creative strategies to respond. After 6 months, the Riveras had experienced a drop in family conflict frequency by 50%, an increase in collective revenue of $2,000 per month, stronger emotional health and resilience, a tradition of weekly fear check-ins and innovation reviews, and honestly, a shared vocabulary that gave their emotions, dreams, and struggles equal value. We used to think success was something you achieved once. Now we know it has to be sustained and protected together. They continued to maintain their bank happiness account with pride, not just to reduce fear, but to invest in their shared purpose. The Riveras story proves that families, just like organizations, can benefit profoundly from the Bank Happiness Program and the frameworks detailed in How to Achieve Sustainable Success, by Oliver Matar. By applying DAR to manage fear and NECICI to foster innovation, the family not only improved their emotional well-being but also generated meaningful revenue and cultivated a sustainable culture of success.